Hey, all you YouTubers out there, and welcome to another DIYing with Michael. In today's video, I will be personalizing not one, not two, but three aprons. One of these aprons is intended for my old classmate in elementary school and neighbor, who in a way is a not-so-new neighbor for me, as we were previously neighbors when we were little kids. Back then, I lived 2 blocks away from her, and now today, 4 blocks. She'd been wanting to own a piece of my apron artwork for quite some time after I told her about my latest projects, especially after I gave her the smock that I made for her son's first birthday a few weeks ago. Needless to say, he loves his gift, so please check the link in the description box below. The other 2 aprons that I have are intended for her mother and sister, especially when I was out for a walk after baking a pound cake, after they all got the opportunity to see a sample of my apron artwork personally, after I wore it for making the cake that exact afternoon they were visiting. Walking helps us all not only stay in shape, but to help brainstorm on many ideas. Remember that. Anyway, as always, be sure to have the following items: fabric markers, a light-up tracing table, and a printout of what font you want to use, because the whole idea is to basically trace the font onto the apron. I'm going to be using curls for all 3 of them, and for a nice addition, I will also add an initial letter in the very center that begins with my recipients' first names. Let's begin, shall we? Okay, so we have our font that we want to use for the first apron placed on our light table, and now the next thing you have to add is the apron itself, like so. Let's make sure the neckline is at the very top of the tracer, and tuck the apron into the table so that way it stays totally still and won't fall off while you're working on it. That looks good so far. Once the apron is ready, it's time to switch on the table, and you may begin tracing. For a font like this, we're going to be creating outlines for all the letters before we fill them in. In addition, since we're using a large initial letter smack dab in the All right, now that the large letter has been outlined, let's outline the rest of the letters. Pay attention. All right, so we're done outlining all the letters, and now the next thing we have to do is fill them all in. Just pick whichever color that you think is best for each and all of the letters, and just go from there. We've already gone over this in the beginning. The first letter you have to concentrate on is the large initial letter before you work on all of the letters. And this apron is done. Just look how beautiful it looks. Remember to follow my instructions in each and all of my videos step by step, and these aprons will make excellent gifts for friends and loved ones. With this apron finished, let's get started on the other two. Okay, so now we're getting started on the second apron. This other light blue apron that I have is for my neighbor's younger sister, so that way they match. All you have to do is repeat the process like we did with the first one. Place the font on the tracer, add the apron onto it, and make sure the neckline sits at the top of said tracer like so. Tuck it in so it stays still, and then sit down, switch on the light, and trace away. As always, if you choose to add a large initial letter when you're outlining fonts or coloring in the letters, the large letter gets traced on and colored in first. Sometimes that outline for the large initial can be annoying, so feel free to blend in colors from the smaller letters, so that way they're out of sight. Perfecto! 2 aprons are done, and they match pretty nicely, don't you think? And now let's work on the last one, and it's for their matriarch. Okay, so for the last apron, I think I have saved royal blue to be the best for last. but considering that it's a somewhat darker shade, I had to highlight the large initial for the personalization before I got started working on it. Anyway, just repeat the process with the first 2 aprons, and you will have achieved your desired results. And we are done. These aprons look so beautiful, I can't wait to see my recipients wear them. Since we use fabric markers for this project, the final step is to have the ink dry, so you'll have to stick them in the dryer for about 10 minutes for curing just before you can stick them in the wash. As always, when you watch my videos, be sure to follow my directions step by step, and when you do, these aprons will make excellent gifts for friends and loved ones. Be sure to like and subscribe because there's a lot more where that came from. This has been DIYing with Michael. See you next time.